This report reveals a golden opportunity for the Boston Bruins, as Elliotte Friedman has come out detailing many players from the Vancouver Canucks, but one in specific being a key target for multiple teams across the NHL, including the Boston Bruins. We're going to be breaking that down, as well as going over the latest updates from the Bruins' top prospect, being James Higgins and Dean Letourneau, as both of those guys are absolutely making waves with Boston College. We have a lot to break down here in today's video, but before we do jump into it though, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the sub button. Join us here on the channel. We're covering everything Boston Bruins, and we have a lot of news to cover as things continue to escalate throughout the season. A big win in yesterday with the day off, and once before, again, a very big happy Thanksgiving to you all. Hope you're enjoying your day, staying safe, and of course, have fun, eat some turkey. You know, the whole 9 yards, but we need to get straight into this on our day off, as we have some very interesting things to cover, and the trade market is continuing to heat up. And with this from the hockey news, but coming from Elliotte Friedman, on November 25th, Sportsnet Elliotte Friedman reported that the Canucks are open to hearing trade offers for their veteran players. However, the NHL Insider also noted that the Canucks are not shopping blue liners Quinn Hughes and Philip Hronek. Yet, given this update, one player who stands out as a possible trade candidate is forward Kieffer Sherwood. And as we talk about him today, there is a lot of people, and I can guarantee, I can hear it and think it all right now. There's a lot of people thinking, Kieffer Sherwood, he's a mediocre player. Would he move the needle for the Boston Bruins? Yes. I think that's the very quick answer. I'm going to be going over why here, of course, in this video, but also, there are some things that he has done this season that is really putting him on pace for a career year. But there are also going to be other opportunities which we have to keep in mind that are going to be even better when we get closer to the trade deadline. So keep that in mind. But when we look at Kieffer Sherwood, I think the first thing I want to take a look at is the contract. $1.5 million, final year of his deal. Will be 31, currently 30, when this deal expires. So, fits the threshold of a veteran for the Vancouver Canucks, but also kind of fits the category of a player that the Bruins wouldn't mind adding due to the amount of injuries that this team has really gone through here so far in this season. And last game with Matej Blumel seemed to be the one that made all this really become a possibility in the minds of many Bruins fans, is that's when I really started to see over on Twitter, Reddit, where Bruins fans are like, hey, we need to start kicking tires on some things to make sure that we can go out here and make this team better right now. Don't want to fall into the bad areas of the NHL standings right now, which of course a lot of teams are featured there, and the Bruins are not one and will not be one here in this season. And the fact that we've been looking at so many players here throughout this organization, down in the AHL, Merkelov, Lysell, just to name a few, because they have been the ones that we've been speaking about here for years at this point. When you're looking at a guy like Kieffer Sherwood, I'll pull it up here for his stats. He has done already what we've seen that those guys have not. They have not really been given the opportunity, but if the Bruins want someone they know will perform at the NHL level, they're going to have to go elsewhere to be able to find it at a consistent level. And Kieffer Sherwood really fits that. This year, he's on pace for 41 goals, 16 points in 24 games. Going to be a career year for him after already having a career year by quite a big margin last season in 78 games, 40 points, and he's almost already at his goal career high for a season. So it is safe to say Kieffer Sherwood is having a fantastic season on that blue line for the Vancouver Canucks, and at this, on the third line for this Vancouver Canucks, not the blue line. But when you take a look at what he can do, how things are translating, how his game has really shifted over these past few seasons, it fits the mold of what the Bruins are looking for. I mean, the contract projection coming of a 3 by 2.7 gives the Bruins another option for an extension if they do feel that he is a player, of course, that they would like to get via trade and have for long term. That door is there. It's not one that needs to be done for a trade to be facilitated, but it gives them a great option to be able to say, hey, a very cheap contract for a player that if he can continue on this point till that he is, would be a major steal in the NHL, at least right now at this point, as well as over the past couple of seasons from what we've seen along the lines of that style of production. One very good thing about Kieffer Sherwood as well is that he shoots the puck. You see right here his high danger and scoring, just shot opportunities, a lot around the front of the net, in the slot, side of the net. He is a guy that will at least do whatever he can to get that puck on net. Shooting from everywhere, which is obviously a very good sign. But you see that deep red, orange, yellow there right in front of the net, alongside the net. That's one thing the Bruins want to see. They're currently in the middle of the pack for shots, expected goals, shots for, shot attempts all throughout the season. But they want to still get more goal scoring, and it's just going to be a matter of still getting more shots. And I feel like the best opportunity and the best way to explain that is what we saw last game. 45 shots, of course, Jeremy Swayman and the blue line holding us in that game. But when the Bruins are going out here and getting sub-20 shots, that's not going to drive you to get a win. In most cases. It did last game, but in most cases, that will not result in a win. So when you take a look at everything that Kieffer Sherwood brings, it is certainly one that causes a big spike of interest for at least me, and I want to know what you guys think here in the comments below as well. With all the injuries happening and everything going down as it has so far this season, and the Bruins still in a very good spot, do you want to see the Bruins make a trade sooner rather than later? Give me a Y or an N in the comments below. Y for yes, N for no. I'm curious to see what your guys' mindset right now is on what the team needs to do heading over the next little while at least, because I think we're in a good spot. We have to remember games are going to be very, very tight. We're going to have a lot of back-to-backs at least now until January, where February is the Olympics. So you're going to need to get a lot of guys that you may not expect to be some big stars on your team going, just like we did last game. Alex Steeves, Tanner Jeannot being the goal scorers. That's what we need to see, and more of that would be very, very big. The Bruins have the assets to go and get a guy like Kieffer Sherwood. They would be able to give up prospects for a guy like him, and although it may not be something that a lot of people would be super fond of, it wouldn't cost a lot, and that's something I think very, very safe to say at this point right now, and especially when you're looking at where things are coming for the remainder of this season. You look at the Tier 1 trade candidates from Daily Faceoff. There's a lot of names here, and I think that you're looking at these names, it would be a very high price. Very high floor for a price as well. So if you're looking for someone on a cheaper side, Kieffer Sherwood brings every single bit of that. A great goal-scoring opportunity guy, shots on net, would fit in exactly where the Bruins want, especially with the lineup being as kind of thin as it is with injuries, and we only know with how many games are left for the remainder of the season, how many back-to-backs, who is the next guy to get hurt? We hope nobody, but it certainly seems like a trend throughout the NHL, not just the Bruins here in this season. So let me know, yes or no, in the comments below if you want to see a trade, whether it is or not Kieffer Sherwood. But we do have a few more updates here before we do finish this video off. Like I said, we got to touch on these guys from Boston College because they have really been a major highlight of what the future holds for the Bruins. And going off their most recent games and looking at their team stats, you see over the top couple of players. James Haggins, of course, point per game on that one, being the future star of this Boston Bruins team. But Dean Letourneau is still someone that if you guys been here a long time, we can remember drafting Dean Letourneau. I was so high on him months leading up to the draft, being that 25th overall pick. I wanted him. Last year, safe to say, awful. And I mean awful. You look at his stats. 3 points in 36 games. Everybody's belief was out the window, but we've seen it already this year. What he needed. His game was changed. Everything that we wanted to see from Dean Letourneau last year is here this year at a much better level. 11 points in 13 games. So I'm asking you guys one more question before we do finish this video off. With the future of the Bruins very bright, especially in Boston College, what are your thoughts on Dean Letourneau so far after his bounce back here from this season from last? I think that it's, safe to say he's exceeded all expectations this year for sure after what happened last year. And if that production can continue to rise, we're in a very, very good spot. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about today's video, everything in it here. Let me know what you think about Kieffer Sherwood. Would you like him on as an option for this team, especially with the sheer amount of injuries? Anywhere on this lineup, I really do see a fit. They do have some fits internally, but you want to make sure that you have someone that you can trust and has been proven at the NHL level capable of hopping into a lineup just like this. And I feel like Kieffer Sherwood brings all of that. So let me know what you think here in the comments below. It is all I have in this video. Like I said, though, if you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.